Now that we understand what makes a source scholarly and how to read scholarly sources, we can talk about finding them. The library is the best place to get started with your research, and it's especially useful for finding peer-reviewed sources. These types of sources are expensive, and your tuition dollars help pay for the library to provide access to them. While you might be able to find some academic sources on Google, you'll often run into a paywall and not be able to read the whole article for free. Another issue with searching for peer-reviewed sources on Google is that you'll probably get millions of results for your search and have a hard time narrowing the results down to high-quality academic sources. In library databases, your searches will return fewer results, but the results have been curated by humans who decided that these sources are useful for academic research. However, because library databases are more specialized, it's helpful to develop a strategy before we begin searching. Let's say that we've decided to research the effect of social media on political campaigns for this class. Has social media had a beneficial or a harmful impact on political campaigning? If we were using Google to do our research, we could simply search for how does social media affect political campaigns to get results. In library databases, though, we'll search using keywords, the most important words from our research question. In this case, social media and political campaigns are the most important words from our question. We don't just want to stop there, though. It can be helpful to think about ways of broadening and narrowing this question with our keywords. We could add specific types of social media to our list of keywords, like Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. We could also think of different ways to search for political campaigns, like elections or presidential campaigns, and even include a broader term, like politics. Finally, we could add additional keywords to make our search more specific, like United States if we want to focus on how social media affects political campaigns specifically within the US. Brainstorm as many broader and narrower keywords as you can. Having more keywords gives you more options for your search, so you don't get overwhelmed or stuck when you start searching. Once you've developed your search strategy, you can begin using that strategy to find sources through the library. Let's get started on the library homepage, library.louisville.edu. If you're off campus, you can still use the library's resources. You'll just be prompted to log in with your ULink ID and password when accessing our resources. The best place to get started finding peer-reviewed articles is our subject guides on the left side of the page under Quick Tools. These subject guides divide up library databases by subject area, making it easier for you to find the most relevant resources for your research topic. For my research question on social media and political campaigns, the subjects of communication and political science might be most relevant. If I click on communication, I'll find recommended databases full of articles on communication topics like social media's effect on political campaigns. A database is simply a searchable collection of thousands of sources, most of them academic articles. Since you are all researching a wide variety of topics, I'm going to go to the Any Topic Guide and click on the first recommended database listed here, EBSCO Academic Search Complete. EBSCO Academic is a multidisciplinary database that covers a wide variety of subject areas. It's great for English 102 research. Most of you will be able to find sources in this database, but feel free to search in subject-specific databases as well. In EBSCO Academic, one of the first things you'll notice is that there are multiple search boxes at the top of the page. This is why we developed our search strategy with a list of keywords. We'll enter one keyword per box. So let's try some searches. First, we'll put social media in the first box and political campaigns in the second. This search gave us over 800 results. While this is not a lot compared to Google, it's a lot for a library database. But remember, we've already brainstormed several narrower keywords, so we can easily narrow our search down by replacing social media with Twitter. I also noticed that many of my initial results were about other countries, so I'll go ahead and add United States as a third keyword. We now have around 160 results about Twitter and political campaigns in the United States. While we need to look through the results to see if they appear to be what we're looking for, this is much better than the 800 results we had before. Just keep in mind that you will probably have to try out several searches with different combinations of your keywords to get the most relevant results. On the left side of the screen, you can see that our results include academic journal articles, as well as magazine and newspaper articles. Since you need scholarly, peer-reviewed sources for your secondary source analysis, you can check the box next to peer-reviewed under Limit To see only peer-reviewed sources on your topic. At this point, you can begin looking through the articles to find sources that seem relevant to your research question. I'm going to go ahead and click on this article, Tweeting for Votes: How Candidates Utilize Twitter as a Campaign Tool. You'll be able to see the article's abstract right away. Remember, always read the abstract because it will give you a quick overview of the whole article, helping you determine if it's useful for your research before you read the whole thing. Another helpful tool here is the Cite button. Click this to get the citation for the article in whatever style you're using. You can copy and paste this into your paper. Just be sure to check over the citation and make sure that everything looks correct. If you decide you want to save this article to read later, there are a couple of options you can choose from. First, you can see if there is a PDF of the article available on the left side of the screen. If so, feel free to save that directly to your computer. Another option is to use the email tool on the right side of the screen to send yourself the article. If there is no PDF, you can click on Find It at U of L to see if we own the article or if you need to request a copy of it. When you click Find It, you'll either see a View Full Text link, which will take you to the article, or just a button that says Request Item through Interlibrary Loan. If you only see that request button, it just means we don't own the article, but we will request a copy for you from another school. So just click that button and fill out the form to place a request, and we'll send you the PDF of the article, usually within a few days. If you ever have any questions while conducting research, librarians are here to help. On the library homepage, click Ask a Librarian to chat with us Monday through Friday from 9 to 5, and find more ways to get in contact with us. You can even schedule an in-person or virtual research appointment with a librarian for in-depth research help. Thanks!